I'm the at school that's waiting to be applauded. So it just made me realize, like, one, I was like, oh, I didn't get applauded at the end of this. And I'm like, wait a minute, why does that matter? So since then, I try to run off before they can say bye. That's how I leave.
All right. That works. That works. Mr. Fogler, how did you get into acting?
I had a similar thing. I was doing kung fu movies with my friends, the kids in the neighborhood, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing that you know, that video camera was such a gift as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess like if I'm absolutely honest, like my parents sat me down when I was a toddler in front of Looney Tunes. And like as soon as I kind of knew how to read, I realized Mel Blanc was doing all those voices. And that's where it started. I was like, ooh, I want to do that. I want to be with many voices, as many characters as I can. One guy, that was like so amazing to me. And so that's where it basically started. I was below 5 years ago.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you know, really, when the first time I saw the cameras, so.
One of your films I'm really a big fan of is Balls Here. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with that?
I don't know what this movie is.
Right.
And now there's other people who are like, Balls Here. Just let them marinate that. I was like, we gotta change the topic. People are gonna think I did one of those, you know, sexy movies. So, I mean, here's what happened. I was like, wait, all this hearing, and I gotta wear shorts for how much of the movie? And I was like, I guess I'm okay at ping pong. And they were like, Christopher Walken. I was like, yes, where do I score? Yeah, that's what I mean. I got to work with Chris Walken.
Yeah.
And I got to work with him for like a month. That's at the end of the movie. So we were just like every day, me and Chris doing weird shit.
Did you see everything you thought he'd be?
And more so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very surreal. Very surreal. And he took a liking to me because I came from theater and he came from theater. So, yeah, he would say some crazy stuff to me all the time. Yeah. He goes, man, he goes, you know what you and I have in common? And I go, oh my God, what? And if you saw the movie, he's got like a purple cane. He's like a giant, like big fine hair. With like a spike at the end of it. Yeah. So he walks up to me and I'm wearing short shorts and a rhinestone tuxedo jacket. And I just looked horrendous. I'm staring into a koi pond. And I'm like, wait, did I make the right decision? And he goes, and he's looking something over, and it's under there's freaking Chris Walken, and he's like, you know, Dan, you know what we have in common? I go, what, man? He goes, 1 billion heartbeats. Shit. And he goes, Dan, it doesn't matter who you are, koi, swimming in the pond, or the gnat that flies by, that the koi eats. God, only those out 1 billion heartbeats. And then he fucking walks away from me. And I'm just staring into the koi pond. That doesn't help, Chris. It was weird. He was like that to me all the time.
Yeah. Anything like that happened to you on the set of Shazam?
With Chris?
With Chris?
Yeah, Chris, he was going to originally play Savannah. Shazam.
No, you go.
Are you talking like a little boy?
You go. Shazam.
That's his name. When I say it, it doesn't blow lightning at I haven't seen any. You're a lightning man. No, it was no, nothing like I haven't the first time I heard Chris Walken's story from Dan, I was like, this is the first time I'm hearing a Chris Walken story from a guy that's worked with Chris Walken. I thought that was cool. I was like, hey guys, I heard a story that no big deal about Chris Walken. Pretty cool. Heartbeats. No, she said, I think I'm twice that. No, we had no, I didn't ever have the guy that just come, oh, you know, on Walking Dead, Stephen Hawking, the guy that plays Simon, he would, our first encounter was when there's this scene where he has a gun to my head, or someone has a gun to my head and he's giving like a 5-page speech. And in between these takes, we immediately just went to the deep stuff. Like in the first, there was no, hey, how's it going? Where are you from? None of that. Just skipped it. He goes, how do you feel about where you are in life? I go, oh. So I feel like it's 1 in the morning and we're out here. No, but it was a very, you know, so I'm not going to say what he said because it was more intense than funny, but the intensity of it was like, all right, I love Stephen Hawking, so
Okay.
I was like, this is the kind of conversation I like to have. You remember me, blah, blah, just assume we don't, and then just go right into the business, right into the family business. But yeah, he'd be the closest. He does this all the time.
That's like Chris Lloyd.
I love Dan's Chris Lloyd. We were in West End and we were watching the Back to the Future.
Oh shit.
We were watching the Back to the Future play. And
You guys seen the Back to the Future live Broadway show?
they have a DeLorean that flies over you guys. All right, hangs.
Hold on, if you're fans of Back to the Future, you got fans of Back to the Future here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they had to, you know, change stuff for the stage. And everyone, oh, I want to have the Libyans. Everyone knows about the Libyans, right? They're coming as the band, and they're going to shoot a bazooka and party drives the DeLorean away just in time, right? That's his motivation to go back. Oh, time. Okay. So, and so they had to get rid of that on the stage show. So what happens is that there's no Libyans, but out of freaking nowhere, spots glowing green, butter, talk around my clothes, I got some petroleum on my okay? So you're reacting exactly. So you and I in the audience, cracking up at this.
He forgot his gloves.
And now he's freaking. And the guy is like, wow, he forgot his gloves. You're looking out and the audience like, wow. How hysterical was that?
It was great. It was. The place stopped though. They stopped like within the first 10 minutes. And then
Not because we were laughing.
no, they didn't say you cannot laugh at this, sir. No.
The DeLorean was like, coink.
Yeah, it was just sort of like, oh, that's a car above us.
Yeah.
That's cool. I hope that doesn't drop. But yeah, it was then Dan started doing Marty McFly, and you were killing me. Anyway.
You haven't lived until you've seen Doc Brown sing a soulful song. It was so unintentionally hysterical. funny.
You just sold me on it.
You gotta go.
But you should see it.
On tour. There's so many in here.
Going from softball specifically. So, hey guys, did we mention how much cobbler we had? I'm not joking. It was like a 9.
He had a whole cobbler,
Yeah,
and I had a whole cobbler.
and I am running it. Have you ever sweated sugared cherries?
It's incredible.
It's
I love it.
yeah,
I love sweating.
I like sweating through my eyeballs. It's fantastic.
I'm sure at first though you were like, "This is a wonderful life I lived to be given a whole cobbler to myself."
I was thinking, oh, dude, don't eat this. It looks good. It can't be good for you. Just don't try a little bit. Have a square.
It's really good.
You know what? I mean, come on. Let's do another square. You know, why do we need to start? Let's get a spoon and just go the right way. Hello?
So you walked by me on Friday night, was that the tree from the
There was other foods too, but yeah, that was one. But today we ate.
like going to the hotel, so it's like
I take food, and they're not food, I'm gonna take it. I might not eat it, I'm gonna take it. It's like you either take, I mean, like when we're playing those games, you like stick like chicken legs in your, your inventory. You're not gonna eat all those chicken legs, but it's good to have. I don't know what journey I'm about to go on. I don't know. The plan is to get to the hotel. It could have been anything. I'd have had a coffee alongside.
Okay. All right, let's take some questions from the audience if anybody has one.
Can we go is the question I'm gonna hear first.
I got you.
Oh, great, and you're 2 for now. That's perfect. I'll just wait. Think of the third for me. That's
Well, one of my book you guys, I just said from, but the first one was I was really surprised to see you and Jay and Bob
Oh yeah.
in Chronic Con. So how did you end up being in the Kevin Smith?
You guys, have you guys seen this? Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. The reboot? Anyway, that was a very recent one. Sorry, I'm cursing so much. You're fine. So we did a movie called Fanboys. Okay, did you see that movie, Fanboys?
Yes.
Okay. I played a character named Hutch in that. I'm the same character in his movie. Okay. And so Kevin Smith makes an appearance in Fanboys. So he was like, yeah, I want you to make an appearance in this. So we did kind of like let's keep the universes covered, crisscrossed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I guess the last one I was gonna add is how long ago was this? Like a little less than 10 years ago, I played this little game called Lego Dimensions.
Yeah.
And not all Lego games do they have the actors from the movies actually reprise their roles. So I was really happy that you got to reprise Jacob and the Lego Fantastic Beasts levels. So I was just curious what it was like being in a Traveler's Lego game as opposed to just regular acting. That experience.
Oh man, it's so fun. Like I love doing that stuff. Yeah. Like I love that there's a Lego of me, of Jacob. And I love that he's in a video game running around with my voice. Like and for that process they basically said like because I was just doing Jacob, I was just doing my regular Jacob voice. And they were like, no, it's more amped up. So like if you play the game, I'm even more crazy. I'm like over the top Jacob. But it's me. And man, I love doing that stuff. Love doing all the voiceover stuff. And yeah, was it fun to play that game?
Oh yeah, it was really fun. A little expensive.
Oh yeah.
At the time anyway, so I was kind of used.
I'll talk about it.
Most of that money goes to the actors, so.
Thank you.
First, I'm really sorry we did not help you, Tom. I'm seeing right now. Recently, being with a group full of actors, we were doing a crucible in an old schoolhouse that had no heating. Yes, I was Sarah Good, I was it. I was killing this bitch, but
I was in the preschool in college.
it's a hard show, it's so long. And so we were in this old abandoned schoolhouse with no heat. And we got on the subject of if the zombie apocalypse yet. What would we do? We, of course, we hold the fact that we were all right. How do you think y'all would do if you were in zombie apocalypse? What you making?
Which zombie apocalypse?
Not World War Z, the slower ones.
Like Walking Dead?
Yeah, not World War Z, World War Z was not.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. It's almost, I almost laugh at how little we can kill them on the show. Like, we fight slower than we could in real life. It's so that camera can see it. And then everything was so dynamically polarizing when it came to disagreement that everyone's like, we're gonna make decisions now. I'm like, oh, just think about it. I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna join in that, but everyone had to make such like cold hard like lines in the sand on certain decisions that I was like, no one would survive if it was that like on the line. So yeah, much better. We'd be fine. We'd be forest people.
That's the same thing, everybody, we were all talking about, we talking Last of Us, we talking Walking Dead, we talking World War Z, which zombies are we dealing with here, and it's basically we were all there, it would be fine, it would be fine.
Yeah, no, Walking Dead, fun. World War Z, I don't have the cardio, I don't know who does besides that. No, like those things are like, I mean, they're so silly looking too when they were like animated and like, I was just, I like Train to Busan. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
That's my favorite depiction of zombies. Train to Busan. And like I love Korea. I got to go there quite a few times. Wife's Korean. And, that is exactly how the Korean people would act. Like on the things they did, that's exactly what they would have done. I thought it was so accurately written. And then like Walking Dead, when people were like mad at some like Gabriel, I'm like, come on, we haven't had a single coward. They're like, no, I will do the right thing because I lead with a clear heart. It's like, come on, there's not one guy that's like, oh, I messed up, I probably should have opened that door. So, but we got so used to everyone doing the right thing that like the overly, it's like for the greater good hero stuff. So I like Train to Busan. Like, no, what if they're weird?
That's a great thing song. I just watched that like a year ago for the first time, and it was like the first time a zombie film had hit me the way that watching the Romero film for the first time as a kid, or the 28 Days Later worked on. So that's a great movie. Really, really cool. It depends on how much cobbler you've eaten though.
Oh yeah, no, you can't have cobbler in those worlds. Walking Dead world, you can have cobbler. Yes.
Okay.
No, her. Sorry.
Okay, got a question for Dan. In the Harry Potters. In the Harry Potter / Fantastic Beasts universe, what is your favorite magical beast and why? And the second one is, what is your most favorite episode of The Walking Dead?
So I love season 10 of The Walking Dead because I had that weapon, that motorcycle mace. Just love. I was a fan of the comic book, so and I was playing Luke, who exists in comics, so that was so cool. Anytime I was like any of those scenes where there were many, there was a horde of walkers, and it was just several minutes of us just smashing, God, I love that stuff. And that's all, it's just, I love all that actually. And we all got to, we got to participate. What's my favorite Fantastic Beast? Okay. I'm gonna say the demi-guys, because like, I feel like you can hang out with the demi-guys, you'd be like, You could take the dummy guys to Vegas. And they would be able to, count numbers. And like tell like what number is gonna land on. Roulette and stuff like that. And it has the fur of invisibility. So you can like shave it down every once in a while and make like an invisible cloak, furry cloak out of it. And then invisibility. Yeah, like an invisible scarf. Why is his head yeah, that's my answer. And I'm sticking by it.
Visible socks.
Yeah.
I like this. How do you capture this?
How do you capture it?
Yeah.
I think it eats nifflers. Just a bunch of nifflers. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's nasty, but. Niffler epidemic. If you have too many nifflers, it gets crazy. Solves.
You want to do the second?
Oh, yes.
I have a question for both of y'all. I actually have two, but in between projects or when you're doing movies and voice acting, how many projects in between do you allow yourself to have, or do you take on multiple projects at one time? Like when you're doing a movie, are you specific on just that movie, or do you take on that movie and then somebody pulls you and say, hey, would you do this and this?
Well, life is short. And
I-
like, you try to do as much as you possibly can at the time. It's like, oh, yes. Because in this business, when it rains, it pours, So you want to do as much as you possibly can. And the only way you're not going to do something and have the schedule not work out is if it's just impossible for the schedule to work, And that sucks when you have to choose one thing over the other. And being able to juggle voiceover work and live action work is great because you can do a lot of voiceover work, on set, like while you're still working on other things. I say, that's my experience, just constantly hustling, just like, yes, let's make it work, let's just do as much as we can.
Is there personal preference of food on set that you like to have every time that you go on set?
You're talking about food?
Well, there's a lot of actors out there, they're like, oh, I want this on set, or
You know what? I'm weird, man, because I have trouble eating while I'm working, so I'm fasting while I'm working. And then, like, after work, I'm just eating like all pizza, this is not good for that. But, yeah, that's what I do. I'm like, I can't eat while I'm working.
Yeah, I do. Like for Walking Dead, I had to put something in for food, so I wasn't like. But yeah, like you never want to eat heavy because then you're doing a scene, and then you'll be like this, like, ooh. Oh my god, yeah, no, there's like 2,000 walkers outside. Oh,
That always happens.
yeah.
You'll
Oh god,
the first part of the day, you're like fried on the ground. You're like you're ready to rock, right? And then they go to lunch, and then they're like, now it's on your close up, and you're just like bloated. You're just like,
and you're out of it.
yeah. That's how it works, man. You have to be able to then someday try to match what you did earlier. That energy, it's wild, dude.
I'd keep going from our final season, we was shooting Shazam 2 at the same time, and they were like 30 minutes away from each other. So, even though the characters are similar in ways, it's still very like, I have a different mindset for Jerry than I do for any character, even if they're like us. So it's the weird flip flops. I'm like, oh, is this an emotion from this other show or this one? And I remember I did like, going from like one scene, and then I couldn't go from Shazam to Walking Dead because we were having COVID tests. I was doing like 12 a week, and yeah, I had to do so many because I do both productions. And then I just remember going right from Walking Dead, and they didn't change my hair at all when I went to Shazam, so I just go do the Shazam scenes. I mean, the same makeup from Walking Dead. but yeah, you want to take it all you can. Also, like, you know, movies, you know, there's other scenes with other actors, and then you're just like finding yourself like sitting around, and you're like, bored. So, you know, you want to, yeah, do as much as you can.
How crazy was it when like you're shooting Walking Dead up until you have to jump onto a plane? And you're like, no, I can't wipe the makeup off. And then you're going through TSA with like fake blood all over you.
Years, and then you look like, I washed my hair and I got a clean t-shirt. What's the phone? And you're like, oh, because that different bloods. Yeah, it happened so many times. So many times. And they're like, oh, well, we should be, it's early day, so we should be done by like 10 p.m. latest. And it's like 3 in the morning, and it's 4 in the morning. You're like, oh, my plane's in 3 hours. It's like, we're still doing this. Yeah, that was fun though. But it was great when we're in groups because then we all look bloody. And so then they're like, oh, okay, then we're together.
I got a question, guys.
During the SAG-AFTRA strikes, were you guys able to work on anything independent, or were you spending all your time picketing, making sure you're?
I picketed every morning for 5 hours at a time. No, I was in Atlanta. I was in LA. I did one day of picketing, I think. Yeah, so I got to produce some. I got to produce some things, and I was able to cast non-union actors into these projects. So we did a cool like Korean War short that was fun. But yeah, the strike just makes you realize it's like I hate sitting around waiting for a production or like some studio to tell me why I can make something. It's like it's so dumb. Like it's so like we can make our own. We have just myself. I have cameras, lights, sound. I can shoot the whole movie. I did shoot the whole movie, but the strikes, if anything, just showed like how like vulnerable and reliant we are on things that we shouldn't have to necessarily be. It's like telling us how to paint. I don't know. It's like you can't paint on that canvas because those paints. Yeah, it's just we're recording this. Yeah. He was so flippant about it. Yeah, I know, guys, but you know the strikes, what we did for the strike, that's almost over. And I know, I was a boom operator, I was a sound guy for a very long time, and people that I learned from or I worked with, they're not working. All the Georgia crews, so many of them are doing other jobs and whatnot. We got our strike, but this was a lot of people losing homes in the industry, having to sell their stuff. So, that's my feeling. It just went to a different place. Dan, play us out of that. Get like,
We should have it's 2 impressions.
yeah, let's change this. That's what.
Nice,
Yeah, yeah, way to bring up the strike. Dude.
Nice.
Oh, yes, yeah, question.
Wanted to lighten the mood, so this works out great.
Great, thank
Your
you.
favorite bloopers from Walking Dead.
Some of our favorite bloopers from Walking
Yes.
Dead. Well, none would be mine because I've never messed up. So get that, just so you know. That was so perfect. Don't let anyone try and convince you otherwise with very detailed stories.
Very convincing.
Like if Ross tells you that I hit him in the face with the end of my sword while we were running towards the fence and just squared him in the face, it's a lie. That didn't happen. That's fine. If like, you know, if I tell you that, you know, I was a perfect horse rider, that's the truth. If someone tells you that I came in on a horse like this, and then right as I straighten up, that's when I come on camera, that's a lie. And if someone told you that my last scene with Andy Lincoln was nothing but perfect, then that's also going to be a lie because not only was I on my horse, he kept eye contact with me the whole time. And I was like this. But my horse was like this. To the point where the cameraman, the dolly grip, and the focus puller all jumped off of the dolly, and the horse missed the camera by like this much. This is camera, this much. My horse is back into it. I can't ride horses, all right? But the entire time Andy was looking at me like this, like, all right, Jerry, what's going on with the, it's like looking back and forth, like right to left, the horse is going everywhere. So, yeah. And then I've seen Melissa like fall so many times in different places. And I laugh at those. You're also perfect, right?
Am I answering this question as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, those horses are crazy. I, yeah, I love that we got to ride horses. So, yeah, I guess the only real blooper I can think of is when it was like one of those season 10 episodes where they're all the horde. What they call them? The horde.
Yeah, the or yeah,
Yeah.
or the the whisperers,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, when there are like hundreds of them, and they're coming at us, and they get stuck on the electric wire, and then we're all just basically just standing there and just smashing them as they come toward us, which was so fun. But they would just be like, "Okay, keep rolling," and we're just smash, and they give us different various weapons. Like I had a version of my weapon that was like heavy, it was like real, and then I had another version which is the one I was using, which is kind of like a rubber, like if you hit too hard, it kind of like gets bent out of shape, kind of thing. So looking down at it, and like the head at the top of this thing is all gnarly and bent out of shape. I'm just like, is it on camera? Like, I'm smashing forever. And they're just like, yeah, keep going, looks great. Just keep smashing whatever's in front of you. So I'm like, okay. So I pick a zombie, a walker dummy, and he's all slumped over. I'm just like, I'm just gonna hit this walker dummy in the ass over and over. Smash. And my thing is just it's all bent. And I'm smashing like crazy. And then finally I'm cut. And I'm like, oh man. That was crazy. I was just smashing the crap out of this walker's butt. And then the walker turns around and just like, yeah, you did. That was quick. Keep it up. That was a blooper. Yeah, they really should tell us which ones are alive.
yeah. They got rubber weapons. Their heads are fun. Good old Chateau.
This one is for you. What did you like about playing as the character Jerry?
What did I like about playing was the character Jerry? Jerry, I felt, actually, I guess Luke would probably be this way, but a lot of people are like listening to like some like hard music or like sad music to sort of get ready for Walking Dead. And I'm just listening to like Hamilton. Like, just like, I love Call Me Al. I can play the song over and over. So playing Jerry is like a very relaxing character. He's more stress-free than me for sure. So I'm pretty good on the stress, but I don't know, he had this optimism. So I started enjoying it more because just how different he got to be from these other characters. Because I like the idea of Jerry was, I played him as a guy that was just sort of seeing the world as it is now. And just, this life is great, as opposed to looking at it like, oh, look at what we all lost. And so I went in with that approach to things. So yeah, and after that, this is a very comfortable character to play. Yeah, so it was very succinct. Down, yeah.
What do you think is probably one of the most awkward positions that you've actually fallen in? I used to do like reenactments and stuff, so whenever we had to go down
Oh, yeah.
It's like the awkwardest position that you remember that you're like, oh, this is so uncomfortable, but I can't move.
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
Did you ever do the thing where we had these scenes where it was like a group, and I'm sort of like clocking where camera's gonna be, and I'm like, if I position myself there, I will not be in the rest of this scene. That's how you have to be a body as well. I'm gonna die by the wall. So that way I'm like, do you guys need me in this? No, actually, we're not gonna see that side for the rest of the day. You can go home. That's the trick. But before I learned that lesson, I did one of the first things I did. I was 18 and I play like this guy that gets hit by a car, and I'm on the side of the road, and we just put like this red goopy makeup stuff, like blood on my arm. And I was laying in this position for hours. I had to keep my arm in this position for even longer. So when they finally said, "Okay, you're wrapped," I dropped my arm, pulled off, like waxed all my forearm hair. Now that's like a lot, but it's still, I'm a dude, there's hair, and it went missing. And I had this crazy bicep cramp, so that was a pretty bad position. But yeah, always try and like die flat. Die in seat position. Don't do like you clutching your heart, your head goes up to the right, and then your other arm reaches out for your friend who left. That's gonna be terrible for your back. Yeah, just do the classic X.
Yeah.
That's what we do every movie now. Every time someone dies in a movie, it's gonna die in X. X. Yeah, well, that was good.
You got a question? 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Oh, there's a question. No, Shiva was rarely, she was an animatronic or then had sections of Shiva. It's like today, Shiva's upper back, you'll pet it, but and then it was mostly a tennis ball. But talking about puppets, somebody talks to puppets. What was it called? What was the show called? I love that show.
Eric, I did that show, Eric.
Eric, yeah. Have you guys seen Eric on Netflix? Okay, good. Well, guys, watch it. It's great. Benedict Cumberbatch, Dan Fogler. Dan talks to puppets.
The kid that goes missing, right?
This is more than a movie, man. What?
The kid that goes missing, right?
Kid that goes missing, yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I got to, you go onto a job like The Walking Dead, you learn how to shoot arrows, you ride horses, that's really cool. You go onto a show like Eric and you get taught how to do like old school Jim Henson, Muppetry. I'm like a kid in the candy shop. I was like, I so enjoyed that aspect of the show. Fantastic Beast. There was quite a bit of puppetry, quite a bit of talking tennis balls. But yeah, they had different. I love the puppetry because they did it in Warhorse fashion. You ever seen Warhorse? Where it's had like a skeletal version of a horse, but in several different puppets, different things, and it just looks real. And even though it's skeletal. Same thing for like the Olympics. They had 4 puppeteers, and one of them was working the head, and they're all making sounds and shit, and like making it move like a gigantic rhinoceros. It was wild. I loved all that. To put everything on top of it, yeah. I said, yes, more puppets. Bring it on.
Yeah.
As much as you can get a performance from something to work with.
We didn't even get a Shiva when she died. We didn't even get a tennis ball. We got Patrick's dirt that we had to look at.
Damn.
They gave us nothing. But then when I was running over Minotaurs in Shazam 2, they brought in like this big, like they brought in the lifelike head, so we knew what we were hitting. And I'm like, that was so. I was like, oh, that's what they're gonna look like. So yeah, our director would be like, oh yeah, these are the monsters you guys are gonna be like running over and stuff. Oh, these were sweet. So there's no sweets. And then yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, they got a long tongue to eat us with. That sounded worse than that. You know, like murder guys, it was gonna kill us. Good night, everybody. Good night.
We got time for one more question. You've been waiting very patient.
I just wanted to say, I'm from Queens, you know, we have 4 seasons. So how horrible was it for you to shoot in Georgia in the summer or the fall, you know, where it still was like 80, 90, 95 degrees?
We enjoyed the whole summer, the summer, the fall, which is the second summer. I mean, I'm from Georgia. It sucked. Long wintry clothing.
Yeah.
I'm from Georgia. So someone that wasn't from Georgia. Did you love it? Did you love it so much?
Oh my God. There's so many times when I was just like, because I was like, yeah, so he's a music teacher, he's like a professor, he's got that blazer on with the patches on the elbows. I was like, classic, yes, that's perfect. No, it's not! It's so hot. I was like, what the hell am I doing? And then, but come like the winter months, so when it actually got cold, I was like,
Yeah, not the Gambus and the red jacket, that thing was hot in the summer and it was cold in the winter. It did not retain heat. It had like holes in it. And it was very frustrating. I got so much heat rash in those first 2 seasons. I'll tell you that honey and cinnamon work out great to under on the skin. That's what I'll say.
and on that note,
And now we say.
Thank you for joining us.